Hi, Barbara.
Well, hello, David. How are you? You're good?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. You good?
Uh-huh.
All right.
All right. Okay. So thank you for joining me. And again, I am recording this. So if you couldn't join me live, that's great too. Or if you are joining me live, remember you can always go back and listen to the recordings afterwards as well. So we're going to cover quite a few things today. Um, for the sound to be as good as possible, if I could have everybody mute themselves right now, there is going to be a question and answer. So I appreciate muting. And then also, if you don't have a microphone, that's okay. Because the other thing is we've got the little chat box that's on your left-hand side. So if you have a question that comes up, don't be afraid to type a little message in there of what your question is. At the end of this, I'm going to reserve this, and at the end, then we can go into the questions. So I put a little whiteboard up here for today's agenda. There's a little intro that I'll do. And then we're going to talk about the lymphatic system today. We're going to do an exercise for moving lymph in your body. And I think, Barbara, you've done this one before, or maybe some of it in one of my other classes that I was doing. So this might be a little bit of a review for you. And then we're going to also, I want to talk about stress today and the immune system, how it affects the immune system. And then lastly, there's going to be a little exercise that I'm going to take you through for reducing stress. So we have a lot to cover. And I only scheduled this for a half an hour, so we may go over if you don't mind. And again, if you have to leave early, that's fine. Remember, it's going to be recorded. So, little introduction here. A few years ago, I wrote this fabulous book, if I say so myself, called Boost Your Immune System. And if you don't have a copy, you can get your copy. There's a couple of different ways that you can actually get a free copy. And one is if you go out to my website, which is Cindy Bartz, my name, cindybartz.com. Right on the first homepage is an opportunity to download a digital copy. So that's one way you can get the book. The second way you can get the book is if you go out on Amazon. If you have Kindle or the Kindle app, again, it's free. All you have to do is just download it. If you want a hard copy, then you can buy a copy on Amazon as well. So a little bit about why I wrote the book. I actually wrote the book a couple of years ago, back in 2016. And what I had been doing prior to that is I had been doing workshops on boosting your immune system at some of the local studios, like yoga studios and health clubs, health and wellness centers, that sort of thing. And I had done that actually for a couple of years. And then I decided in early 2016 that, hey, why don't I write all this stuff down and put it in a book and self-publish? And so that's what I ended up doing, is self-publishing, and had it out on Amazon. So it's been going okay. I really haven't been doing any live seminars for a while on this. Once in a while, I do have an organization that has me come in and speak. And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually bring physical copies of the book and sell them at the seminar as well. So anyway, fast forward, with all of this stuff going on right now, I thought, oh, this is a really good time to resurrect. Because all of the information in this book that I wrote is still extremely valuable. So that's a little introduction as far as how this all came about. So let's move on to the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is similar in some ways to the circulatory system in our body. The circulatory system, of course, is the heart, the blood flow, and then the blood vessels. And we all know that the blood flows through these vessels, through the veins, and the heart pumps that blood through the body. And a similar thing happens with the lymphatic system. So things that are the same. There are vessels, lymph vessels, that run through the body, just like the circulatory system. And think of these as maybe like little highways that run through your body. The other thing that the lymph system has that the circulatory system doesn't have is that the lymphatic system has these little nodes, and they're about the size of a pea. And most people have about 600 of these little nodes in our bodies. And so what happens is that there's this lymph fluid that runs through these vessels, and then every once in a while it comes to a node. And what this node really does is it filters the fluid. So think of a highway where you have garbage collectors collecting garbage along the way. That's exactly what this lymph fluid does. As it's moving through the system, this highway system, it's collecting viruses, bacteria, pathogens, everything that it feels that is really shouldn't be there. And so it pulls these pathogens in, and then it gets to a node. And this node is like a filtering system. The other thing that the node does, and I like to think of it in an analogy of security guards. So you come into a town and there's security there. And these security guards basically allow you to come in, or they take you to jail. And so if it identifies when this fluid gets into the node, if it identifies something that really shouldn't be there, a virus, a bacteria, some sort of pathogen of some sort, then what it does is it takes and puts it in a jail, so to speak. And at that point, there are cells in your body that will destroy it. So that's how this lymphatic system works. The lymphatic system also is only a one-way highway. So what I mean by that is that it only goes up the body. And unlike the circulatory system, the lymphatic system does not have a pumping system. So in our circulatory system, we have our heart that pumps the blood, and it goes down and it comes back up the body. So it's a two-way highway system, but not with the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system does not have any type of pump system, and it's only one way. It starts at the feet and it moves up towards the heart. So with that being said, there are certain things that we can do on a daily basis in order to get our lymphatic system to work more efficiently. Any type of movement that you do is going to help the lymphatic system, because that movement is a way of pumping that lymphatic fluid through your body. So the other thing that I want to say about this, and I've got some notes here about the lymphatic system, and where does the fluid come from is one of the questions that I get. This lymphatic fluid, where does that come from? And actually it comes from the heart. When the blood is pumped through the heart, there's about 1% of that fluid that's in the heart that is taken out and moved into this highway system of your lymphatic system. And so that's where that fluid comes from. The fluid is a real transparent, liquidy type it almost looks, I guess, like water. I've never seen it, but that's what I've read, is that it's very transparent. If we are stagnant, what happens is that, again, that lymph fluid cannot run through the system as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So we probably all have been sick at least once in our life, and it hurts maybe a little bit underneath the or behind the ears, and maybe in the neck or under the throat here area. Well, that's one area where you hold a lot of these lymph nodes. And when you become sick, those lymph nodes swell up just a little bit because they're gathering all of that pathogen of whatever that is. And it's trying its hardest to get rid of those. And so we've got a lot of lymph nodes in this area here. Also, another area is underneath the armpits. So the armpits are underneath the arms is another area. There's some up in this area as well, but then there's a lot in the abdominal area, into the groin area. We have a lot. And then, of course, the vessels and the nodes go all the way down a little bit past the knees. We also have quite a few lymph nodes on the back of the knees. So right in that crease, there's a lot of the lymph nodes. And again, we've got about 600 of those nodes in our body. And when you're in good health, those lymph nodes are about the size of a pea. And when we have some sort of pathogen or illness or something like that that's going on, then they do have a tendency to swell up. And so if you have that swelling underneath the throat, or sometimes, even underneath the arms, it can be real tender. That's your lymph nodes working. They're working their hardest to get you back into health. And so that's one of the things that I mentioned in my book, is that your body is incredible. It has this innate wisdom. It always wants to do its best to heal you. And the lymphatic system is part of that innate wisdom that is there. So with that, what I'd like to do next is I want to show you a lymphatic type exercise that I do. I actually do it every morning. It takes about 5 to maybe 10 minutes if I work a long time on it, but usually just 5 minutes. I actually do it while I'm in bed. So you don't even have to get out of bed. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch my camera. I've got a little studio here. I'm going to switch my camera so that you can see, and we can actually do this together. And then what I recommend you do is do this little exercise every single day. So give me a minute here while I switch my camera. Okay, all right. Okay, so that little exercise that we just did, I think we started about 17 after. So it took us today about 10 minutes to do. Again, I literally do this every day. When I wake up, it has become one of my morning rituals before I even get out of bed. I lay in my bed and I'm doing this with my legs, and tapping and everything right in bed. One thing that I will tell you that happens is that I probably, number one, mentally, right? You're just starting to wake up when I do it early in the morning, first thing here. So I'm waking up mentally. But I will tell you that after I do it, I just feel so energized. And I don't know if you all feel a little bit more energized from doing that, but it does really help things start to move along a little bit, right? And so you're bringing energy into the body when you do that. And I've found that it really helps to get me going in the morning. It really helps to energize. So that now, once I get that done, I'm ready to get going in the morning, right? So that's one of my morning rituals. And this is, I don't know if anybody's ever been exposed to this. I know, Barbara, I think we've done a little bit of this in one of the other classes that you've attended in the past. But for most people, this is kind of a secret. It's really not something that you hear or see or read about a lot. And I just feel that this is like a golden exercise. It's so good for the body. And so one thing that I really strongly recommend, especially with what we got going on right now, is first of all, you start incorporating this into your daily routine. The other thing is the other folks in your household, right? Teach them how to do this, because it's easy to do. Kids can do it. I don't care how young or how old you are. You can do this yourself. And basically, you just start at the ankles and you work up to the heart. And you really can't do it incorrect. If you forget, oh no, I forgot to tap, don't worry about it. You know, the next day, you'll remember the tapping. When you start to do this, not only for yourself, but when you start teaching other people how to do this, it will help you to learn the technique. And the more you do it and the more you teach others, whenever we have to teach anybody anything, we become more proficient ourselves. And so one of the things that I really encourage you to do is not only just do it for yourself, but teach other people how to do this. And if you can't remember this is being recorded. So you can go back and look at it. You can tell other people, hey, go out and look at this, because she's got this really great exercise that you can do that like literally anybody can do, as long as you can move your hands. If you can't get down, because there are some times when we're ill or sick or we've got something going on, if you cannot reach down here, you could even start. I've got some people that because they can't move down this way, they start with their knees and they work up. So you massage the knees and then work up from there. The other thing is too, is if they have someone that can help them, right? If they're sick in bed, and preferably not something that is contagious that we expose ourselves to, but if somebody else can help them and do the exercises on them, I think that this also is very, very beneficial. So before we move on, is there any questions about the exercise? You can either chat, or if you want to turn on your mic and you want to talk, either way. But if you want, we can take a few questions here.
Cindy, does
Yeah.
also help with blood flow? I believe it with the sickness that it does help the blood flow.
Yeah, so the question is does it help with the blood flow? And I would say yes, right? I mean, you're massaging, you're tapping. So I would say yes, it's going to help with the blood flow. The blood, the lymph fluid really comes from the white blood cells. So because of that, with that blood flow, you're helping your circulatory system as well. Any other questions?
The ankle swelling that I get, I'm thinking that it would be reduced if I practice this more often. That you're feeling the swelling, is that because of lymph things?
I don't know. You know, I mean, it could be caused by a lot of things going on. You don't have a lot of nodes down on the ankle area or the feet. So I'm not sure that it's from that. I would say if like underneath the armpits or behind the knees or behind the ears, if you feel like things are swollen there, then definitely your immune system is being compromised. But having swollen ankles, I'm not really sure that that would be a sign of compromised immune system. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about is stress and how stress relates to our immune system. So I read an article, and this was years and years ago. I don't even know if it's still available, but I read an article several years ago that the CDC had said that up to 85% of all illness and disease is caused by stress. So just think about that. Stress in our life causes this dis-ease, right? And you've probably been to other seminars and other talks where folks have talked about this dis-ease. And so when we have this lack of ease in the body, it causes the illness. And you might think, well, how can that be? So I want to give you an example. If I told you to hold out your hand, and I told you to hold your hand out like this for, say, a minute, no big deal. We can all do that. If after a minute I tell you, oh, let's hold our hand out for another 5 minutes, right? You start to feel it. You might want to bring your other hand here to hold it in place to support it. If I tell you after 5 more minutes, oh, now we're going to hold it for the next hour. You'd be like, really? Seriously? Your hand gets heavier. Every movement that we do in our body and every thought that we have in our head is energy. Right now, what I'm doing with my hand and what I'm doing as far as talking, I'm using energy. Now, after an hour, if you still had your hand here and I told you, okay, I want you to hold your hand like this for the next day, right? First of all, you tell me I was crazy. And secondly, it would be very difficult for you to do. You need to rest. At some point in time, you need to rest. So how is this analogy like stress? So stress, let's face it, it usually starts in the head. It's a mental, it's an emotional thing that starts in the head. We as humans only have so much energy. So think of it as a gas tank, right? You fill up the car with gas. You can only go so far. If I am using my head and I've got all these thoughts going on and I'm stressed out, right? And I'm using all of that energy to figure out what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to solve this situation and planning out and organizing all of this that's going on. And oh, by the way, we cannot control the future. So a lot of this planning and organizing and stuff that we got going on in the head is really not necessary. So we're using all of this energy over and over and over again, just like when I had you have the hand out in front of you. So you can use your energy to do things like exercise, or you can use the energy in your head and your mental capacity and your emotions. But what's going to happen is that energy is going to be depleted. So the more we're stressed out and the more we're trying to solve all these things that are going to happen in the future, or maybe something that happened in the past that we continually think about and relive over and over and over again. Oh, if I only had to do that over again, I'd do it this way, right? And we can't go back. We can't go back to the past. So we're expending all of this energy. And when we do that, we're taking away what could be used in our body to support our immune system. So remember, you've only got so much energy in your body. And ask yourself, how are you using that? Are you using that to benefit the body, or are you using it what I would call wastefully by all of these thoughts and feelings and emotions that sometimes come up? And so there are many, many different techniques that we can start using to de-stress ourselves. This exercise that we just did is also a way to de-stress yourself. You took your mind off of what was going on and what you're seeing in the news and all the other stuff going on. You probably were not thinking about that at all. You were using that energy to do something more productive and something to support your immune system. And so the more you can do that in your day-to-day life, the more you're going to be supporting the immune system. And the more you support that immune system, then the stronger that system is going to get. I hope that makes sense. So that's a little bit about how stress affects the body and how it literally strips our energy. And when we strip that energy down, then our immune system is compromised. That's it in a nutshell. So the next thing that we're going to do is, and there's a lot of different stress techniques that we can use to reduce stress. And the one that we're going to do today, every single day, I'm going to show you and teach you at least one different type of stress technique. For today, I'm going to do a guided meditation. So meditation is one of those things that can really help you to get your mind off of everything else going on, whether it's in the past or in the future, and bring yourself to the present moment. Really be in that present moment. So today's practice is going to be about meditating. And so you can either lie down on the floor if you want, or what you can do is you can sit, whatever is comfortable for you. I'm going to actually sit, and I'm going to sit back a little bit here and bring my back so that I've got my back against the chair. So that way I'm nice and comfortable. So go ahead and do that. The other thing when you meditate that I like to do if I'm sitting in a chair is I like bringing my feet to the floor, and that way I feel a little bit more grounded. The other thing that people sometimes ask is, what do I do with my hands? You know, I see people doing these, things with their fingers and stuff. Don't worry about that. Just bring your hands any way that feels comfortable for you. Roll those shoulders back and down away from the ears. You're sitting up tall, but I don't want you to be like, rigid here either, because you want to be a little bit relaxed into this. And then close down your eyes. And we're going to start with just a few breaths in and out here. So closing down the eyes, and then take a breath in through the nose. And then I want you to open the mouth and do a nice sigh here. And when you sigh, think of sinking down into either your mat if you're sitting, or if you're lying down, sinking down into the mat, or if you're on a chair, just sinking down into the chair. And we're going to do that 2 more times. So take a deep breath in through the nose. Fill those lungs, fill the lungs, fill up with air, and then sighing, relax, release, let go of any tension in your body. And let's do that one more time, a nice deep breath in. And then opening the mouth and sighing, relaxing, exhaling completely. And then from here, simply go back to your natural breath, whatever that is for you. And I'm going to take you through a short little guided meditation here. So we're going to start with the toes. And I want you to wiggle the toes just a little bit and then relax. Relax your toes. And then relax your feet. Bring your attention to your feet. And simply relax the feet. Notice your ankles. Notice the calves. If you're feeling any tension, maybe just move the feet a little bit here so that you can fully relax in the ankles and the calves. Next, bring your attention to your knees. And then the thighs. Bring all your attention to your thighs. Like a laser, moving all your attention to the thighs. And then as you take a breath in and take a little bit deeper, extending that inhalation, and notice your belly as you do that. And then as you exhale, notice what your belly does when you exhale. We're going to do that a couple more times. So bringing your focus to the belly button or the navel center area, and take a breath in and just notice any subtle sensations of that breath coming in. And then slowly exhale here and notice what happens to the belly. Notice any subtle sensations. All your attention to the belly button and the navel center. And let's do that one more time as you breathe in and extend that inhalation just a little bit. And exhale, releasing, letting go. Again, feeling any subtle sensations. And then go back to your natural breath. And as that breath comes in and out, watch that breath. Notice the breath coming in. And as that breath comes in, follow that breath down into the lungs. So you're bringing your attention to the breath coming in and feeling the subtle sensation of that breath coming in into the lungs expanding. And then notice the subtle sensations of that breath moving out of your body. And notice what the chest does when you exhale. And then take a few more breaths. Just use your own breath here, not forcing. And again, simply watch that breath come in and out. Bring all your attention to that breath. And then move your attention to the fingers and the palms of your hands. And as you bring your attention to the palms and your fingers, see if you can feel any subtle sensation. Are your palms touching anything? Maybe another palm or the thigh or cloth. Just bring all your attention to the palms and feel any subtle sensations. You might even, if you go a little bit deeper into that, you can maybe even feel a little tingliness, a little vibration. All your attention. Be totally captivated by what's going on in the palms, any feelings and any sensation. And then bring all your attention to your nose. And you're still breathing in and out gently here. And as you breathe in, bring all your attention to the nose and feel that breath coming in. And each time you exhale, Feel any subtle sensation around the nose, the nostrils. And again, be completely captivated by any subtle sensation. And then bring your attention to the cheeks and maybe the jaw area of your face. Maybe move the jaw just a little bit so that you can feel the subtle sensation of that jaw movement. And again, be totally captivated, 100% of your attention right in that jaw and cheek area of the face. And if you're clenching the jaw, see if you can relax the jaw here. And then bring your attention to the lips with your mouth closed, feeling any subtle sensation in the lip area. Lips touching each other. Maybe as you breathe in and out, you actually feel a little bit of sensation on the lips from that. Again, be totally captivated. And then notice what's going on in your head right this second. Maybe for one little brief second, there was like nothing going on. Notice your breath. All your attention on the breath. And if your mind needs something to do, each time you breathe in, say to yourself, in, or I am breathing in. And if your mind needs something to do on the exhalation, you can say out, or you could say I am breathing out, giving your mind something to do. Just calming the breath. And then again, deepen the breath slightly. And then wiggle your toes a little bit. Maybe move the neck a little bit from side to side. Move the hands. And then you can open up your eyes. And so a lot of people say, you know, Cindy, I can't meditate. But what we just did was a short little meditation. It was about 10 minutes. And by bringing your attention to different areas in your body and like bringing all your attention, right? 100% of your attention to say the knees or your nose, your feet. You took the attention off of all this other stuff going on and you gave yourself a break, basically, from all of those other thoughts, all of those other emotions going on. And so you were meditating. That's how you meditate. It doesn't have to be this silencing of the mind. I did at one point ask you to look at your thought. And maybe for just like a brief second, it was like I didn't have a thought. It was like nothing going on, right? So that's meditation. Whether you have a thought or not, you're meditating. And the more that you can bring your attention maybe to just one thing, instead of all of these other thoughts going around in our head, using all of that energy, instead bringing your focus to one point and keeping yourself away from those other things that can happen in our mind. What we're doing is we're training the mind. And one of my teachers that I study with, he calls the mind and practicing this like you're teaching a puppy. You know, you teach a little puppy how to sit, and you say sit, and you press his little hiney down, and you say sit, and he only sits for like one little second, and then he's off, right? He's running around again, and then you get him back in place, and you tell him to sit. And that's what we're doing right now with our mind. Is we tell our mind to be calm. We focus our attention maybe on the toes, or the feet, or the knees, or the shoulders, or the fingertips. You can do this yourself. A good time to do this is before you go to sleep, right? You're lying in bed, maybe lying on your back. And just do this, I call it a sweep, right? Where you start at the toes and work your way up. And focus on the toes, then the feet, the ankles, the calves, the knees, go all the way up your body. Really focus, bring all your attention to those areas. And it will help you to relax. The mind will relax. And it will actually allow you to get to sleep a little bit easier. We have run way over on time. I love talking about this stuff. So if you have any other questions, yeah, I noticed you were having a little bit of problem there, Barbara, with the video freezing, and that's okay. You can go back and view this. And for those of you that didn't get a chance to come on live, you know, the other thing is you're probably viewing it now later on in the day. So if there's any other questions, you know, again, you can chat in the chat box there. Or if you want to open your mic.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, Barbara. All right. So it looks like
I'm going to let you go. Thank you.
all right. Okay. Yeah, if there's no other questions, that's all I had for today. Tune back in tomorrow. You're welcome, Ellen. Yeah, tune back in tomorrow because I'm going to be talking about other things here.
Thanks, Cindy.
Yeah, so have a nice day. And I hope to see you soon. Tell all your friends. Have them join tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Cindy. Stay well.
You too, Rose.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to, I forgot to record while we were live the exercise for the lymphatic system. So I'm going to go over that again. So I apologize for that, but here it is. This is gold. I mean, like seriously, this is a golden exercise, not just for you, but I want to get everybody to do this. I do this every morning, even before I get out of bed. I am doing this lymphatic little exercise. As far as how long it takes, as long as you want it to take. You can do this in 3 minutes. You can do it in 10 minutes. If you want to spend more time, you can do it for 15 minutes. But I do it first thing every morning. It gives me so much energy. It gets me going in the morning, and I just feel so good after I do this. So what is it? As mentioned, your lymphatic system is a one-way system. And it starts at the lower part of the leg and it moves all the way up into the heart. And so to do this exercise, we want to start at the lower extremities here and work up. So the first thing that we do, I'm going to bring this up here, is we do this little massaging. And we only go one way. We go up towards the heart. So you're starting at the ankle and you're moving up towards the knee. And you're massaging. It's almost like pumping here. It isn't hard, just a little gentle massage. So you do that first. The next thing you do is, I call it sweeping or wiping. And again, just go up towards the knee. And you're helping that lymph fluid move up the body. So you do some of that wiping or swiping, and then the last thing you do is some tapping. And again, only go one way. Start at the ankle and work your way up. So we did one leg. Of course, we have to do the other leg. So again, we start with the massaging. Do that first. Just moving up the leg here. Almost like a pumping action. Remember, the lymphatic system does not have a pump. And then we do that swiping or wiping where we come up the leg. And then the last thing we do is we tap. Now, as mentioned, we have a lot of lymph nodes behind the knees. And so it's good to massage behind the knees here. All right. And then we have the upper legs to do. So we do the same thing. We do that massaging here. And again, just go one way. Go up towards the heart. And then we do that wiping up the leg. And then we do some tapping. On the outside, the front, the inside, back. And then do the other leg, of course. And again, we move up the leg. From the knee, up the leg. And then do that swiping or wiping. And then tapping. All right. So we have the legs done. I also mentioned the lymphatic system. You've got a lot of nodes here in the belly area, lower abdominal area. And so we're going to massage that area. You can massage the sides and go to the lower back area here. And then do some tapping. And then we do the arms next. So we start at the wrist and we're going to work our way up. So we start with the massaging, like we did with the legs. Massage up. Again, we only go one way. We go up towards the heart. We always massage first. Next, we do that little wiping or swiping. Bring my arm up here. And also go this way. And then we do the tapping. The massaging first, then the swiping or the wiping, and then the tapping. And let's do that same thing on the other side. We start with the wrist, work up. And then we swipe, wipe. Again, you can bring the arm up if you want. Do it that way. Remember, there's no pump for the immune system. And then we do our tapping. And then I mentioned we've got a lot of lymph nodes in the armpit, under the arm area here. So let's massage that area using the back of the palm as well as the fingertips a bit here. Do some massage and then tapping. And then we'll do that same thing, massaging. If you've ever been very ill, sometimes it hurts underneath the arms here, in the armpits, and that's the lymph glands swelling up. So once you massage, then just do some tapping here. And then next, we've got quite a few lymph nodes under the chin area and behind the ears. And so what I'm doing is a little bit of massaging. You can see that. And I'm going down into the upper shoulder area here as well. So massage, do a little of that swiping. Because remember, everything's going down towards the heart. Going up towards the heart, going down towards the heart. And then the last thing we do is the Tarzan movement, which is everyone's favorite. You can always remember this, right? A little tapping here. Your thymus is here in the middle of the chest, which is part of the immune system. We're going to talk about that later on in the week. A little bit of tapping here. And that's the daily routine. I do this every single morning. You cannot do this incorrectly. If you forget to tap, so what? You've done something here to boost your immune system, to get things going. The other thing that will happen is that, as I mentioned earlier, for me, this is the first thing. I don't even get out of bed. I do this in bed. And it gives me so much energy. And part of that is just mentally, right? Of getting things going and mentally being more coherent in bed. But the other thing is you're moving. You're moving all of this lymph fluid. You're moving the energy in your body. And by doing that, you're increasing the energy in your body. And it gives me a lot of energy to then get out of bed. So it really helps me. And so this system it's easy to do. I mean, anybody can do it. Kids can do it. I don't care how young you are or how old you are. You can do this. If the person cannot reach the lower extremities, they can start with the knees and start massaging that and then working up. Or if somebody can help them, if you're there with them and you can help them to get down and you do that for them, do that for them. If somebody is ill, hopefully not with something that you can expose yourself to, but if you can help them and do the exercises for them, on them, please do that. And again, I had mentioned this earlier, and I'll mention it again. Don't keep this to yourself. Share this. Teach other people how to do this exercise. Number one, whenever we have to teach somebody something, we ourselves become more proficient at it. And the more you do this, the more you will see the benefits of it, and the more you will be able to articulate that to others. I really want you to share this with other people. Share it with not only the people in your household, but if you can't remember this, you've got the recording. So go back, listen to it again, watch it again. Have other people come in and watch this so that they too can get the benefits of this. This is such a great exercise to do. You don't need any equipment. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Most mornings, I probably do it for about 7 minutes. That's it. I do it every morning. And like I said, I cannot stress enough how much it has helped me. So I hope to see you back at the second lesson or second class. Every day it's going to be different. I'm going to be talking about different techniques. I'm going to be showing you different techniques. We're going to be talking about other aspects of the immune system. And so I hope to see you back tomorrow.